Chapter 65-28. Jeremiah's current idea was to stay here and practice in seclusion. When the deadline came, if Charlie still couldn't help her detoxify, she would resign from him and find a place with beautiful scenery and few people to quietly wait for death. She had thought about fighting to the death with Warrior's Den before. She already had a self-destruct formation left by Victoria in Newen Palace. If she really fought to the death, she could be considered a human bomb. But when she calmed down and thought about this problem again, she found that with her understanding of Warrior's Den, it was impossible for her to meet Victoria. At most, she could vent her anger to the descendants of the Wu family. Jeremiah didn't want to fight with the puppets of the Wu family, so she gave up the road of revenge. Seeing Jeremiah looking at him with surprise, Charlie said, "I'm sorry, Miss Yoon. I've been busy recently and haven't had time to meet you. I wonder if you are used to everything here?" Jeremiah came back to her senses and said respectfully, "Thank you, Mr. Wade, for your concern. Everything is fine with me. Orville and the others have taken good care of me and can meet any request in time." Charlie nodded and then said apologetically, "Miss Yoon, there is one more thing that I am very ashamed of. That is, I have not found a way to break the poison in your body yet. But please rest assured that I will. I will do my best to continue to find a solution." Jeremiah was touched by Charlie's apologetic look and said respectfully, "Mr. Wade still cares about me, and I am very satisfied. As for whether the poison can be removed, I have calmed down and can accept any result. Please don't worry too much about it, Mr. Wade." Charlie smiled and changed the subject. "By the way, Miss Yoon, I took down a base of the Warrior's Den in Morocco, Africa this time, and accidentally met a lady who looked very similar to you there. She was a deputy of the Right Army Governor's Office of the Warrior's Den. She is only in her 20s, but she had already got the Enlightenment." "She has attained Enlightenment in her 20s? Jeremiah was extremely surprised and blurted out, "There is such a genius in the Right Military Governor's Office. How come I have never heard of it before?" Charlie said, "This person is from a branch of the Wu family. She is a genius that even Victoria is paying close attention to. She is in the same situation as you and also has this poison in her body. Now she has decided to work for me, but I really don't have anything I need her to do for me. So I plan to let her settle down in Aurus Hill. If you are interested, you can also get to know each other and see if you can make friends." "Okay," Jeremiah said with some anticipation. A genius like her must have her own insights in cultivation. Communicating with such a person can also bring great improvement to oneself. In addition, everyone's situation is similar, so we can sympathize with each other. Charlie nodded and said, "Then I will have someone bring her to Champs-Élysées and introduce her to you then." As he spoke, Charlie said, "By the way, her name is Ria." "Ria?" After that, she asked Charlie, "Glad to know. Mr. Wade, would it be convenient for you to tell me about the progress of your trip to Africa?" Charlie nodded and gave her a detailed account of his trip to Africa. Jeremiah was so engrossed in listening that she couldn't help clapping her hands in approval when she heard the exciting parts. After hearing Ria's story, she couldn't help but sigh. Victoria's control desire is really abnormal. This woman hasn't even met Ria, but she has already fed poison into her mouth. She is afraid that she will get out of control. Charlie said, "The only people in the entire Warrior's Den who didn't take the poison are probably the Wu family. But for Victoria, the Wu family is very controllable even without the poison. Not to mention that the Wu family has always been dependent on her. There are tens of thousands of death warriors and cavalry guards managed by the Wu family alone. And these people are essentially not controlled by them, but by Victoria. Because once these people don't listen to Victoria, she will stop them and make them die without a burial. If the Wu family has any ulterior motives, all the troops under their command will turn their guns on them." Jeremiah agreed and said, "Victoria is essentially the female version of Emperor Chongzhen. She doesn't trust anyone except herself, and no one can escape her control." Then she said, Luckily, Rhea hasn't met Victoria yet. Otherwise Victoria would definitely set up a self-exposure formation in her Niwen palace. Charlie said, her biggest threat now is that there is no way to detoxify. So I hope that the two of you can study the operating principles and underlying logic of this highly toxic body together. After all, you are the ones who are poisoned. And there are many feelings that only you can discover. If you can discover the essence of the problem, I may be able to find a solution to the problem.